All right. We're back, baby. Segment number 2. Is this episode 7, by the way? We didn't have
This
a proper...
is 8. This is 8.
This is 8?
This is 8.
This is 8. I gotta write that down on my notes. These could be worth something someday. My legal pad.
These are really delicious.
Episode 8, segment 2, which is... I was looking forward to this. This is gonna be a great segment. It's all about, drum roll, conspiracy theories. Ooh, that actually sounded pretty damn good.
Thank you.
Conspiracy theories. Is that what that motion means?
Yeah, I couldn't see your mouth
I
on the screen.
wish you guys on camera could see that. This intense stare, like from a producer. The production assistant in the background gave me this. I don't know what that meant. I just don't know what that means on a regular day, a normal basis, but I kind of got the drift. It wasn't an evil swan. It was to tell me to move the mic down so my mouth shows. Okay, all right. That was subtle, so nobody knows that I had to do that. I just explained it for 4 minutes. All right, conspiracy theories. I'm really looking forward to this. Looking forward to talking about.
Heck yeah.
Mine's going to be about landing on the moon. I don't know. I got my own
I'm going to add
ideas.
on to that.
I got my own ideas about that. But Mr. Cheeseball right now is going to lead in and tell us. I know nothing about this. This is another reason why I was looking forward to this segment. He is going to brighten my horizons, enlighten me on the Mothman. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what you're talking about. Like literally. I don't know what the conspiracy theory is. Is there a Mothman? What is the Mothman? So I'm all ears, and so are the listeners. So let's dive in and brighten our day with the knowledge of the Mothman.
All right, so I have a reason to believe. So there's just between a conspiracy that I believe in, and then having reasons to believe a conspiracy theory. I have reason to believe that this is real. As he just mentioned, the Mothman. So in 1967, there was a bridge collapse in West Virginia. Or was it New Jersey? Wow. Yeah, West Virginia. So then, but before the bridge collapse ever took place, I think about a week or two before the events took place, essentially what happened was there were reports of a 7 feet tall creature, winged creature, and people would describe it as a bipedal bat-like creature, a moth-like creature with red eyes, and red glowing eyes. And this would happen every day leading up to the Silver Bridge collapse. And there were theories saying after the bridge collapsed, either the sightings of the Mothman were warnings that an event, and that's, by the way, all the sightings were near the bridge, whether it was on a road leading to the bridge, on the bridge, past the bridge or something. They would, a lot of people, thousands, like hundreds and thousands of people, like hundreds and then thousands of people, would report seeing something like this. And people were thinking it's a warning that something tragic is about to take place, or, and this is the crazier one, I don't believe this second one, but some people say the Mothman caused the bridge to collapse. I don't believe that, but that's the way it is. Now you would think, well, Nick, there are plenty of creatures that were spotted before, an event would take place or something like that. I think this one's very unique because there's other precedents that back this up. So again, 1967, 2 weeks, during the 2 weeks before the Silver Bridge collapse in West Virginia, people reported a Mothman-like creature, 7 feet tall with red glowing eyes. And after that, nobody had reported on the Mothman at all. Nobody. You didn't hear about it in the news. There was a movie made on called The Mothman Prophecies with Richard Gere in it. Not a great movie, but... Oh, and also, 46 people were killed in that Silver Bridge collapse. So people like to say, the Mothman killed 46 people. So again, nobody mentioned it ever since 1967. But then, in 2007 in Indianapolis, there was another bridge collapse. 2007. So that is 40 years later. And guess what? What was reported a few days before that bridge collapse took place? A Mothman-like creature with red glowing eyes was seen hovering over that bridge before it collapsed.
What?
So I believe in some way.
Red eyes.
Red eyes, yes.
Like a demon eye? Like.
Just like eyes that happen to glow red.
And flying. So flying like a moth?
Yes, so but
Before the
most of the
collapse.
description that
Yeah.
people would give it, the wings would look more like moth wings than bat wings. There's a few people that say it was like a bat-like creature, but I think when they saw the shadow like in the sky or something like that, they would describe it as more moth wing type of
Really?
thing. And they even have a statue of the Mothman in West Virginia due to the events that took place and the reports that led up to the sightings that were reported leading up to the bridge collapse. So it's very well known. You go to West Virginia, you will see a Mothman statue up there
No
because
kidding.
of that. So I have reason to believe it's real, but
Are
then
there-
again,
Are there any documented like pictures of like a figure? Like have they? Is there besides the sightings of eyewitnesses? Do they have any like pictures, videos
Or like
of something?
visual aid and
Visual
general.
like evidence that
the most you can get, and you can find this on YouTube, it's very easy. If you actually
Sure.
look at, now granted, the show itself, the found footage is not real, they're made up, but while the episodes are happening, they'll have intermissions where they will give people like they'll show people having interviews saying like in X, like the description for the Mothman was this, that, and the other, and it'll be from people that are scientists, cryptozoologists, and during these times, during these breaks from the actual show itself, they will actually show footage of people like driving. They'll claim they saw something or something, or they'll show what they recorded. It will be like very.
it's vague, but
It's
I mean there's like
super
something
vague.
there.
Super vague.
Yeah, something there. Like
Yeah, so if you want the most documents on the case, you would look at the show called Lost Tapes on YouTube and look up Mothman, and there's like because of copyright issues they don't have full episodes, but they have like half of an episode, so it'll be like part 1 of that episode and then part 2 of that, but you can find it there and you can get more
No
details
kidding.
on that. So that's
Have you? Is that a picture?
oh, is that the
The
yeah.
statue.
Yep, that's the statue. Yep. That's what it
Gotcha,
is.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Have
everything
you-
else is cartoony, so I can't really.
Yeah, that
Right.
would have.
Have you like firsthand ever seen the Mothman?
No.
So he hasn't come to visit you at work or
Nope.
no, not in your
Never.
bedroom at night.
Ever.
Nothing?
I wanted to when I was a teenager, but something tells me that if I don't see the Mothman, and if it's true, if the Mothman is real, it's probably a good thing that he's not around me.
Probably.
A
I
lot
would
of
agree
a
with
lot
that.
of people are saying that the Mothman is now the Serbian dancing lady.
Huh?
The Serbian dancing man. I never heard of
Yeah,
that
the
either.
Serbian.
I never heard that either.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah, it's like all over TikTok.
Wow. I'm definitely, well, I don't use TikTok, so.
Well, I don't either, but I saw it on YouTube with like a TikTok compilation, and like this one guy was saying, yeah, if you've ever heard of the Serbian dancing lady, she's like on the east side, like West Virginia and all, like over here, and it's also down south, and she just starts dancing, and then if you look her straight in the eye, she'll kill you, and they're saying that that's the Mothman in disguise.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I did not.
Have
Wow.
you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Mothman's your thing. I never heard of that.
I never heard that
one.
either,
You
and
haven't
again-
heard of that?
No, and the thing is, the part where you say that if you look in the eyes, it will like kill you or something. You know what that sounds like to me? That just sounds like a hellhound story, where like the dogs from hell. If you look at them 3 times, then like if you even look at their eyes, you can die an untimely death. That is another thing. I used to look up a lot of cryptozoology stuff when I was a teenager, but
Holy moly!
Yeah,
This is some-
I just saw this either last night or the night before before I went to bed.
So
I think it would be wild and cool to hang out with a Mothman. Like, man, what if you just went to the neighborhood bar with the Mothman? Just go have a pint, little liquor.
or who knows if the government's
He
covering
just
it
gets
up.
upset about the price of the beer, starts to hover, wave his wings a little bit, get everybody upset. I don't know.
He's
It's
probably
kinda
around.
crazy.
He's probably around. Just our
I've
government's
never-
probably hiding him.
Never heard of this before. Never once have I ever heard of the Mothman. So this is news to me. I don't know if it's news to the 28 people that are going to watch this, but never heard of the Mothman. My conspiracy theory, we'll spark it now. It's a good time stamp because we're about halfway done.
Yep.
Landing on the moon. It's a little more well known, a little bigger of a controversy, I guess you could say. But yeah, I got my question marks. I never questioned growing up, but the more you dig on information about this particular incident, it was paramount. I mean, we were the first ones to land on the moon, the whole thing. I mean, America's great space program, so on and so forth. But I mean, if you really dig into some of the evidence, and I got 4 different points that I did some research on
Oh yeah.
that indicate that the whole freaking thing was fake. That's a pretty big deal. Like, if the moon landing wasn't real, right or wrong, right? You agree with that, Alyssa? Yeah? It's kind of a big deal if it was fake. I mean, you want to talk about the biggest hoax, the biggest, like... I mean, imagine doing that to society. You created everything on a set, like Stanley Kubrick's, the 2001, The Space Odyssey. I mean, you could literally do that back in the 60s and the early 70s when all this took place, and you could really probably do that. That's why the conspiracy theories developed, they manifested, and they kind of grew over time. And now, present day, a lot of people doubt that we actually landed on the moon. The first thing is the waving flag. In the vacuum of space, you're not going to have a flag waving like it's like out in your backyard.
Yeah,
With the wind.
yeah.
Why is it doing that? I mean, there's no explanation.
No.
You ask experts on, like, astronomers, actually experts on space travel, space, like, orientation, and none of them can give you an explanation of why that flag's waving. What now on a set, like if you did it on like a movie set, right or wrong, like that flag's waving, yeah, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense out in space.
I have something to
So it's
add
crazy.
to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Super quick, and I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
not trying to take
No.
your time. But something I'll add to that, and I'm just going to say one thing. I'll make a recommendation. That's it. You know what you need to check out? Watch Patrick Bet-David interview. I forget his name, but I showed her, and she was pretty convinced of it too. Watch an interview. I gotta look it up. I have one of my favorites. He interviewed a man that used to worship NASA, and he loved studying space growing up and whatever. And he also messed with filmmaking. He used to do filmmaking and mess with light effects and
Correct.
stuff like that.
Right?
And he essentially said, like, as he got, and he's older now, like, I think he's in his 60s or 50s or something, and he said that the lighting that they use for, like, filmmaking, like space movies or like Star Wars and stuff like that, he said that's identical to what they showed from the moon landing.
Really?
Yep, basically. And he has a whole plethora of things. He has like 10 things. Again, watch it. It's like 50 minutes long. But he basically said, point blank, yeah, I don't think the moon land was not real. Like the original team Apollo 11, like there's a whole thing. To the point where the CIA tried to assassinate him because he was telling people that the moon landing wasn't real. Again,
I gotta
you'll have
look
to
this
watch
up.
the video.
We'll have to get the name before we
In
do
fact,
the,
if you want,
the next
I will put a
segment.
link in the description for you guys if you want to check that out.
I mean, but there's a lot of that. Morgan even had, what was it, your grandfather that worked in...
He worked for NASA. He was a rocket scientist.
Worked for, and yeah.
And what
tell
did
the
he say about...
Tell the audience, it's a great comment that she got
So
from her grandfather.
I asked him. I was a kid, and I asked him, "Grandpa, is the moon landing real?" And he's like, "I cannot confirm or deny because I have no information about that whatsoever.
That's somebody that works at NASA. Why wouldn't you just say, yeah, honey, yeah, absolutely, we landed on the moon? Right?
The other thing that
That
gets
should be a no-brainer if you're working for that organization, right? But I mean, those are the kind of comments that are out there from people. They're very vague.
one quick thing.
Fun
sorry,
fact
go
about
ahead.
my grandpa, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have these.
Cell phones?
Yep. And
No.
we wouldn't have Wi-Fi and we wouldn't have cell services either
I am
because
so-
he actually created the first cell tower.
That's
Wow.
pretty amazing.
I'm so happy you mentioned that. That completely adds to what I was going to say super quick. Is another thing that gets me about the whole, oh, we landed on the moon, but, X, Y, and Z. Here's my big problem. Why is it that they said that, oh, that technology was destroyed and we can't replicate it anymore? Meanwhile, that same technology is used to power your cell phone.
Wow. I don't know, there was a moment there when I was listening to you talk and you had your hand in the cheese balls. I don't know why, but the cheese balls made you look like, and you would never think this in a million years, it made you look like very professor-like. I don't know why. I have no idea why. It was like listening to a professor like talk, because it was in stuck mode. You had the cheese balls, but you hadn't extracted them and put them in your mouth yet. You just had them suspended, and you looked very professor-like. Like the intelligence was just booming from the Cheeto balls.
Perhaps I'm
So,
an
yeah.
expert on
I
that.
don't know why. Call me crazy, but well, a lot of people have. But yeah, that was wild. I mean, 1969 to 72, there were the 6 lunar landings, and they were all done in conjunction, in my opinion, on some sort of top secret stage studio, because there's other signs. Like, why don't you have, you're in space, and this is another thing astronomers, experts on space cannot explain. This should be a layup. This is like asking me, a weirdo vitamin salesman. It's like, Alyssa knows, she's in the vitamin industry part-time, but I mean, it's relatable.
There's credibility to that.
Yeah,
She's
it's
been in it for
relatable.
8
It's like asking me,
8 years, there you go.
hey Fletch, vitamin C good for your immune system? And I'm like, well, I don't want to comment on that, and I don't know for sure. Yes, that's a it's a layup.
Yeah.
It's what we call a softball in our industry. It's like, yeah, it's good for your immune system.
Yeah.
To what extent is it going to cure cancer? Okay, then you can, no, that's not the answer that you give. But yeah, it's great for your immune system. Engages your NK cells, creates mucus linings more efficiently, so on and so forth. That's a layup. Why aren't there any stars on the video footage for the lunar landings? Why can't you see any of the other stars in the background? Can somebody explain that to me? I mean, last time I checked, I thought stars were kind of bright, right? This is common sense. This is coming from a vitamin salesman. Why don't you have a couple stars? Maybe 2 or 3. They overlooked that in the production set. They were probably like, oh, I should have stuck a light up there and made it look like, oh, there's Jupiter in the background. I don't know. There's no stars. There's no stars on the footage. It's pitch black.
Another thing.
That's not reality.
Another thing that I gotta say about that, the whole why isn't this like this or this like that? Another thing I had to say, and I will ask the audience to do your research on this one. Go look at the footage from the press conference from when they did the moon landing supposedly. Look at the faces of the men that supposedly went to the moon, and answer me, are those faces of the people that went to the moon, or are those people just
They
look dead inside, like they did something completely fraudulent.
Well, they have the look of like, and I've had it. Shouldn't say it on camera. I've had this look many a times in my life. Like they took money for something they shouldn't have done. And I know that look, because I might have done that a couple times in my life. But I mean, you have a guilt look. You don't have a look of euphoria, enthusiasm. Like you just made the most monumental leap of faith, so to speak, that we could actually get to the moon. Those faces should have been completely different.
I saw footage
in that Q&A.
I don't watch
with the
space.
reporters.
Yeah, I don't watch SpaceX stuff. I'm not given my views, which another hot take for another time. Actually, I'll say it after I say what I say, and then you guys can, to be continued. I don't watch a lot of SpaceX stuff. I don't. It just doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't interest me, but I'm not going to bother keeping up to date with that. But I saw audience, including Joe Rogan, get excited over the fact that they had a rocket deployed, and then they have it come back down or something like that. Elon Musk made that and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw people screaming over that. You best believe that people who went to the moon, if I went to the moon or did something of that caliber,
Correct.
you best believe I'm going to be hey, look,
Right.
everyone's cheering me
Right.
on. I'm so thrilled by
Take into
this.
consideration the time. You're talking about 1969, not 2025 or 2024 when Elon's shooting off rockets. This is a long time ago.
We're going to space itself was a big deal in and of itself.
Exactly. The amount of anticipation, build up, and those guys' faces lacked any type of enthusiasm. It was
Exactly.
it's like they committed a murder and they,
Yeah, you would have thought that they.
And I know that look too. I don't want to talk about it. But another key point. No, I'm just kidding. It was never with a human being. But that's beside the point. It was a raccoon, and a groundhog. I don't have any remorse. These bastards tortured me for months, so I don't want to talk about it. All right, it's bringing up bad memories. So the shadows in the lunar landing. To get back on track, it comes from. There's been documented astronomers, experts on space. They're not parallel. They don't line up. They're
they
different
don't.
angles.
They don't.
It's been documented time and time again. And again, nobody from NASA, nobody from any governmental agency, nobody ever comes forth and says, yeah, that doesn't follow the law of physics. You can't have two different shadows. That means you have two different lighting sources. Last time I checked, the sun was the lighting source for that particular, expedition, the actual landing. So it's it's only going to come from one direction. The shadows should be uniform, but they're not. So it's again, we could go down a rabbit hole just on this for hours at a time. There was one other thing that I just found recently. It's the Van Allen radiation belt. I guess the belts in space be from Earth to the moon. In between, there's these Van Allen belts of radiation that the craft and the crew would not, literally at the time. I bet now, 2025, different story, right? We have different technology now, but they wouldn't have been able to survive that. And everybody glossed over that, well, we did. We got through the radiation. How? Everybody would have came back and looked like the Hulk or the Thing from the Fantastic Four. Nobody talks about that at all. The intense radiation that they would have been subjected to by the mission. So I don't know. There's so many different things we go on and on about, but I just always found, at the time when you're growing up as a kid, I was like, wow, we landed on the moon. How cool is that? Right or wrong? And then you grow up and you start to dive into evidence. You start to play attorney, you start to play a private investigator, and you discover a lot of things that it just disappoints me. I think it's a big hoax. And I'm not a nut job. I'm not somebody that looks for something to be fake. It's just there's way too many things that don't make sense about it.
Well, it's just
big question marks.
What you did with that,
my dating life. What is? Oh, sorry, that's another topic. So,
so Fletch, when would?
We just got another signal, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna start filming her on the back set because she's being production assistant today, and I kind of like it. Now we got a new one. First, this means you got to lower your microphone. Are you guys waiting for it? Because this is what we got earlier, in particular me.
Technically, he's got.
He got it first.
He's got it at least
right away.
20,000 times. That's the first time I ever did it.
Cheeseball got it first, but then we got this again, and I tend to stress. Look at the look on my face because this is the intensity we're getting it at. Which I'm anticipating means wrap it up. So we're gonna wrap it up. On that note, we had a brilliant discussion about. I learned about the Mothman. I don't know anything about the Mothman. I'm fascinated. I think I dated the Mothman's sister at one point, but that's beside the point. And we talked about the moon landing. We will wrap it up. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Ready?
No,
1,
no,
2,
no,
3.
no,
Let it out.
no,
Let it out,
no,
sister.
no,
No.
no.
You're not gonna do it.
Uh-uh.
No. She's. Oh my God. She was able to diffuse it.
How about we wrap it up with this with the statement that I wanted to add on to that, and that will go down another rabbit hole.
Which is? Oh boy.
So to the solution, to your theory
Out of control.
of why like nothing adds up, it's because I don't believe space is real.
Wow. Well, that. Well, let's definitely wrap it up on that. That's a big statement. Come on, talk about a grenade, and he just launched it and left the room. Like, dude.
Kind of like the fart bombs that you and Morgan like to play in the restaurant or that store.
That's unintentional sometimes for me, by the way. I don't want to like announce that on camera. You know, I don't want to have an accident, so you got to let out some air pressure once in a while. But anyways, guys, great segment. Thanks for watching.
It was a lot of fun.
We're gonna bounce to segment 3 in a couple minutes. We're gonna do a little bathroom break. So that's all, folks. We'll come right back.